Welcome to the Heidrick Struggles Leadership Podcast, the premier provider of leadership consulting, culture shaping, and senior level executive search services. Every day, we're privileged to talk with fascinating people who are shaping the future through their leadership and vision. Each episode, you'll hear a different perspective from thought leaders and innovators. Thanks for listening to the Heidrick Struggles Leadership Podcast.
Hi, I'm Louis Belland, partner at Heidrick Struggles and member of the Global Industrial Practice. In today's podcast, I'm talking to Steve Foots, CEO of Croda, a FTSE 100 company leader in the specialty chemicals sector. Steve joined Croda as a graduate trainee in 1990 and has held a number of senior management positions in the group. He was appointed Group CEO in 2012. Steve, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
It's a pleasure, Louis.
So, Steve, you lead Croda, a B2B company in a sector which is not necessarily well known to those who don't work in this sector. Could you describe in simple terms what Croda is doing?
Croda is the name behind the high-performance, innovative ingredients in some of the biggest, most successful brands in the world. We create, make and sell specialty ingredients that are relied on by consumers and industries everywhere. For example, we put the anti-wrinkle active in the anti-wrinkle skin creams globally, and more recently, we're classed as a critical supplier of vaccine ingredients into several leading COVID vaccines. Most of our ingredients are made from natural and renewable raw materials.
How would you describe the evolution of Croda over the last 10 years under your leadership?
Croda was formed in 1925, and I'm the seventh chief executive of the organisation. So it's a good job it's not like football managers, because we do rotate around far quicker in that industry. I mean, but my sense of it is, Croda continues to expand very well. I mean, we've doubled in size in the last 10 years and probably quadrupled our value, our share price value, over that period. So we're a bigger, stronger organisation now, more pointed towards consumer end markets and more pointed towards emerging markets as well.
You are in the specialty chemicals sector, and how compatible is specialty chemicals with sustainability?
Well, they aren't mutually exclusive. I would say that first. Sustainability is an investment, not a cost. And our industry has a huge responsibility to increase the positive impacts of our actions whilst reducing the negative impacts. And it doesn't really matter where you start from in our industry. You could be in petrochemicals, you could be in diversified chemicals, you could be in specialty chemicals, as you say. But I think from where you start from, you have to improve as an organisation from your sustainability credentials. Otherwise, your business in the future will be substantially weaker. And a lot of your customers will take their business away from you. And many investors, if you're a public company, will take their business away from you as well. So it's really important that organisations grasp sustainability, the full extent of that, and include that centrally in their business plans and their strategy going forward. In Croda, we take it very seriously. It's at the heart of our current strategy. It isn't part of it, it's central to it. And the combination of innovation and sustainability together drives this resilient growth. So the thing I say a lot about this in the organisation is around, you can be the best innovator in the world, but if you don't have products with sustainability credentials, you won't sell your products at the speed you want going forward. And vice versa, if you have the best bio-based ingredients in the world, but if they're not giving your customers some innovation, then again, you won't sell your products as well. So you need the combination of both innovation and sustainability to drive your growth. Everybody uses the word specialty chemicals very widely, but definition for me is all about giving your customers something that nobody else can give them. And they want it, they need it, but they want to create great value with that. That's the definition of specialty chemicals. It isn't about extending a specification, putting it in a different drum and calling it something different. It has to have great value to your customer, and it has to create value for them as well.
You have put in place a purpose-led strategy relatively recently, actually. Can you describe what does it mean and what changes it triggers in terms of culture, in terms of organization, in terms of structure, in terms of leadership skills?
We created our purpose, Smart Science to Improve Lives, about 3 years ago. And we wanted all of our employees to feel that they're working for a greater good. more so than just turning up for their day job. And we really meant that. And it's about changing behaviour. So whether we are making more batches right first time to reduce carbon dioxide emissions, or whether it's to help solve the biggest medical crisis of our generation with our involvement in the vaccine ingredients, we're using our smart science to save lives. And it's really all about this behaviour change in your organisation, getting the organisation to really understand that their actions are more powerful than they believe, and it's pointed towards this purpose. So that should drive, and that will drive, continuous improvement in the organisation, which is what we want at all levels. And we're not there yet, but we are deeply embedding this right around the organisation. And actually, the new generation of leader, not just for the chemical industry, clearly wants to drive great profit performance and financial performance, but they have to be much more rounded in whether that's in safety improvement, performance, sustainability improvement, and being a rounded leader like they've never done before. And and I think that's really crucial. So the next generation really need to have that armory in them, and our job as a company is to make sure that we try and develop that with them through the organisation, and it's all about leadership in the end. Your top team in the organisation has to speak really clearly, consistently, and with genuine authenticity about this. It's very evident from our recruitment that more and more people who are coming into the organisation are coming in because they think we're doing the right thing. So the brand of Croda is improving because of that. Our job is to convert the leaders that have been in the organisation for many years as well, and to get their views changed to allow them to bring that next generation on as well. Purpose is not just a slogan, and it is for some organisations, let's be honest, but for Croda it's very deep and meaningful, and we have to stand by those actions in everything we do going forward.
You mentioned the behavioral change. What does it mean practically in terms of behavioral change for the executive team, or even for all leaders in your company?
Well, I think we start with the view that the non-financial performance of the organisation is as important as the financial performance. So when we review the financial performance, we also review the non-financial performance as well of the organisation. And the point I'm trying to make with everybody is we should be disappointed if we create great profit growth and our carbon dioxide Scope 1 emissions go up at the same time. We don't think they're mutually exclusive. We think actually we can apply our innovation to our factories as much as we can to our research and development. And we believe going forward that we can continue to deliver great financial performance, but it will be as a consequence of great non-financial performance as well. And it's important that we see sustainability in that manner. It's not a cost; it's an investment in your future.
And is this the way the board sees it as well? How do you embark not only the organization but also how your board supports you in that transformation?
The board have been hugely supportive, and they get sustainability, and they get it because they can see the potential transformative value it's got for the organisation. The Croda's history has always been in natural ingredients. So since 1925, when we started making products, we made them from wool grease, which was from the fleece of wool. I mean, arguably one of the most natural ingredients today. And if I look now at where we are, about 65% of our product range is from bio-based renewable ingredients. So we've got an ideal position to develop our stories with our customers, and a lot of it's about accelerating the transition with our customers to more bio-based ingredients. But you have to do that with innovation. The board's involvement has been more significant than probably many, in so much that we, in arriving at our purpose, we held a competition, internal competition around the world, 1,300 responses to our questions around what should we stand for in terms of purpose. And as a board and as an executive committee, we read every one, and we arrived at smart science to improve lives. So we engaged the organisation by, I think, engaging ourselves first, and once we engaged ourselves in that, then it's much easier to deliver that through the organisation once you've increased the awareness of that at the start. So the board have played a crucial role in that. And as I said, we're really excited about rolling this out. And the announcement recently of Croda's involvement in the Pfizer vaccine, I can't think of a better example of playing our purpose out of smart science to improve lives. We're now innovating in what is the biggest medical crisis of our time, in the biggest medical drug of its time, and it's quite appropriate that Croda's involvement is central to that through our innovation. So, it brings to life the purpose in a very big way.
Along those lines, how do you see the future of Croda?
Yeah, well, it's all about sustainability. And the question we ask mostly in the organisation is, through that sustainability lens, which markets are likely to be the fastest growing in the future? And just as important, which are the markets that are going to die away and reduce significantly? And what you have to do is you have to be on the right side of whether it's legislation change, consumer behaviour changes. But significantly, there's great opportunities out there. But if you're on the wrong side of those market changes, you could have a much weaker business. So the markets are changing much quicker today than I've seen in my 30 years in the industry. So organisations that really get sustainability, that are focused on customers in a laser-like way, trying to meet their unmet needs and anticipating what they need beyond today, will be the successful companies of the future. So effectively, it's linking innovation to sustainability. In summary, the next decade is polarising around sustainability, and the modern company and the modern leadership around those companies have to really get that the non-financial performance is just as important, if not more important, than the financial performance, and they're not mutually exclusive.
And how are you preparing your leaders to face those challenges of the future?
Well, again, in terms of our judgments in decision making and how we recruit, who we recruit, how we train and develop in the organisation, we appointed a president of sustainability to our executive committee for the first time last year. And for the first time last year, we included sustainability metrics in our remuneration for the top 300 in the organisation. So, we've got something to guide us there with as well. And we've got ambitious targets. So by 2030, we want to be climate, land and people positive. And we've got very detailed objectives around each of those three work streams. And that is really critical. And what we've seen so far is a really great response from the organisation. Many people in the organisation are excited about helping and supporting that. And that's the most important thing in the end, because what we really want to do is drive that behaviour change in the organisation. Effectively, you'll innovate better, we'll innovate more. Our customers hopefully will like that if we keep close with them. And we'll be a stronger business financially because of that. And that's the whole thinking. It's like a virtuous circle. Powerful in its way, but the heart of it is to get the organisation galvanised around this is not just an initiative. It's more than that. It's a sort of way of life that is going to be with us all now forever.
Is there a model you look outside, a sector or a company or leader?
I like organisations that have had a great track record for a long period of time, but that track record is in innovation and increasingly sustainability. So anything like that, any organisations that have done it over the years, whether that's football teams, whether that's technology stocks, or whether that's in our industry, and there are plenty of those organisations out there that have done a great job. And we have a list of our most admired peers in our industry, and they're in there because of that longevity of success. But I think in terms of leadership, the thing that I get inspired with is beyond incredible leaders, I call them. People who can imagine the unimaginable in their organisation and take the organisation to a higher level that was probably dreamt of many years before that. So those people that can do that, and there's not many around, and we need more of those people, whether it's in politics or in sport or in the chemical industry. But but you can see them, and when you see them, they really inspire you. And I tend to look at the technology companies of America, whether that's Amazon, Facebook, Google, Apple, transforming mindsets. And why can't we have that in our industry as well? We can. It's a matter of leadership and ambition and confidence.
Now, what is your most important lesson learned over the last 10 years as a CEO of a purpose-led company as you are?
Keep innovating. It's all about innovation for me at the start of it, but it's making sure your organisation is fully engaged in this this whole area of sustainability, and they really get it for the right reasons. And making sure your organisation continues to focus on your customers and really deeply understand what your customer really wants from you in the next few years, not today. So it's about meeting unmet needs. But we're big innovators in Croda, and resilience comes from giving customers what they want when they want it, and making it very difficult for them to reformulate your products.
Steve, thank you for making the time to speak with us today.
Thanks, Louis. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Heidrick Struggles Leadership Podcast. To make sure you don't miss more future-shaping ideas and conversations, please subscribe to our channel on the podcast app. And if you're listening via LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, why not share this with your connections? Until next time.